Oh yes, folks, it's the NBA playoffs here on YouTube as the Indiana Pacers will take on the Toronto Raptors. Now, I want to go over the formats of these videos real quick. In these videos, I will be giving you a little bit of a season overview of the teams. I'm also going to let you know about the matchups during the series that everybody should be watching out for. And I'm going to give you, for those fantasy players, I'm going to give you like a guy or two that you can play in fantasy. And then overall, I'm just going to give you the team that I think is going to win the series. Okay, cool? Okay, deal. All right. Now, let's get to the Indiana Pacers first. Now, Paul George has, he's come full circle. And I've been cheering on Paul George for a while now to come back from that gruesome leg injury, and he's got his Pacers back in the playoffs. The only problem is that he's taking on a team that's probably a little bit more better. I'm just going to say it like that. But Paul George has had a really, really solid season. He's starting to, form himself back into where he was before. Now, I've done tons of videos about if Paul George is elite, and I think that he's starting to round that corner. He's definitely got his legs back under him. His shot looks pure. Everything looks like it's there, like it was before. I think that he's lost a little bit of explosiveness. All right, pre injury and then after injury, but it's still there. The guy is very talented, and the Pacers have had a pretty darn good season. They've had a couple, of big men emerge down low, and they've been consistent. Another team. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record doing these videos, but this is just another team that has been able to avoid the injury bug, and that's something that's very, very, very important. Now, looking at the Toronto Raptors, closest thing to perfect that I can say about the Raptors this year, the way they played it. They've had injuries up and down, and they still were able to pull off the second seed in the Eastern Conference. Damari Curl, who was the big free agent signing, really hasn't played at all this season. I don't know if he's going to be rejoining them for the playoffs. Odds are, my sources are saying that he will play in the playoffs. I don't know how that chemistry is going to work. I don't know how he's going to fit into it. I think that he will be a great bench scorer if they can bring him in off the bench and then he can play 30 minutes. But the core of this team has been, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, two players that you can say are on the borderline of being elite. Honestly, I kind of put them into the Paul George, into the Paul George bowl, where it's like I want to say these guys are elite. They've been all stars, but they have not single-handedly carried their teams, all right, to the NBA Finals yet. So when we talk about elites, all right, we talk about elite players, you have to say it with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Like I just can't hand out the word elite like it's just like it's candy or something. It has to be earned. So, both of these players are pretty darn good players, but elite, eh, I'm not going to go there yet. All right. If you want to argue with me down in the comment section, if you a Raptors fan want to argue, okay, fine. We can go at it. All right. We can go back and forth about it, but elite, no. As far as like the matchup that I want everybody to watch out for, all right, I think it would be easy to say Paul George versus whoever. But I'm gonna go a little bit deeper here. I'm going to go Monte Ellis versus DeMar DeRozan. All right, because I think that both of these teams, neither one of these teams can win this series without either one of those guys performing at very, very high levels. DeMar DeRozan, I'm not sure exactly what his usage is. I think that of course, Lowry's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, but DeMar DeRozan is a very explosive player. He's a type of player that can score 20 points in 20 minutes. He can average a point a minute. That's how dangerous that guy is. He's a very, very speedy guy. And then Monte Ellis is one of those streaky type of players. Like once he sees like 2, 3 go in, it's just like he just kind of throws it up and it goes in. He's a pure scorer, and it's going to be fun to watch both of those two guys go back to back. I think that the series hinges on which one of those guys perform at the highest level. All right. Now I could have said, the bigs matchup. I think the bigs matchup down below is important, but just not as important as those two guys performing at a high level. Those guys have to perform in order for either one of their teams to go on to the next round. As far as like fantasy relevance go, The safe play will probably either be Lowry, maybe Paul George. Paul George should definitely be the safe play because that's where the majority of the scoring is going to come from. Um, it's just another series in which you can kind of pick your poison. Pick your poison. I mean, there's elite price players here. There's elite fantasy point players here. If I had to give you guys a surefire guy or a value guy, Nolan Powell is a guy that I would play. I don't know how much DeMar Carroll is going to play. Another guy that I'll be looking for is Miles Turner. His price shouldn't be crazy. He should be able to get on the court and play a lot of minutes. Jan Mahimi has been solid this season. That's the reason why the Pacers are even in the playoffs, because of guys like Mahimi. And George Hill is okay, but he's just not as consistent as you would want him to be. That's the reason why you want to play him in like GPPs. So as far as who wins this series, um, I mean, on paper, both of these teams are pretty much evenly matched. I mean, I hate to say it, like Toronto is a second seed, but the Pacers are not that much far off from where Toronto is. You know what I'm saying? I know all y'all Drake fans ain't gonna like that, but it is what it is. Um, Let me say it like this: I think that Toronto is the more together team, but I would not be shocked one bit. I would not be shocked one bit if Indiana won this series. I would not be shocked. Paul George is capable of taking over games, but I think that DeRozan and Lowry are going to be able to hold off of Paul George long enough. That's the reason why I'm saying that Monte Ellis's performance is important for Indiana. I think that um, Toronto's going to be able to hold off Indiana long enough to win this series in about 6, maybe 7 games. So let me know how you guys feel about this series right here. It's the WC. This is the NBA playoffs on YouTube. Make sure that you guys stay tuned for additional videos for other series. And until next time, folks, peace out.